All right, everybody, we're going to get right to it. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister, Jonathan Simmons. And we thank God for those of you who've decided to join us here on our live stream broadcast. We're coming to you from the ATL, the chilly ATL. Temperatures have plummeted under 40 degrees. Now, for those of you northern guys, like I originally came from Connecticut, you say, man, what you talking about? That's not even freezing. But with the wind chill, it feels like we are below freezing temperatures here in Atlanta. We be in the South. So I'm thinking, come on, man, we got to warm it up. But we thank the Lord. We thank the Lord. The Lord knows what he's doing. And for those of you who don't know, if you don't get like these really cold snaps, you get another problem. In the summertime, Mr. Mosquito will jump into a situation because we have not killed those boughs where they are and where they nest. So I'm just saying, I'm not complaining. Thank the Lord. All right, speaking of thank the Lord, I want to thank the Lord for a guy that's joining us here on the broadcast today. He does wonderful things here around the community. He has a book that really is a playbook for student athletes. That's what it's called, Student Athlete Playbook. My good friend, Mr. Buddy Brown, is in the building. Welcome back, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
Good, sir. Good, sir. Good to be here. Good to be alive and moving around, all that kind of good stuff. So we're thankful. We're now in the week number, I guess, now 3 of a brand new year.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Hard to believe
Happy
it,
New
man.
Year to everybody.
Happy New Year. Hard to believe, man. Month is almost over already.
Mhm.
So we just started a new year, man. Here we are.
Yeah. Hey, man. Well, listen, when you're having a good time, man, in spite of any of the difficulties that may be going on in life, hey, time can keep moving. And regardless, time gonna keep moving with us or without us, man. So we might as well enjoy it, make the best of it, man, and help somebody while we're doing it.
Well, that is true because time, as my grandmother and mother say all the time waits for no man
No
or no
man.
woman,
No man.
whichever you prefer, but it ain't waiting for you or nobody else. But
Exactly.
speaking of time not waiting, nobody's waiting here in Atlanta. Lots of stuff jumping off now here. And so the questions that we have today for our viewers and listeners, number one, the Falcons coaching hires. Do you like them so far? And number two, should the Hawks trade for Giannis, a former MVP? I'd like to get your comments on that, boys and girls. Well, first of all, let's talk about the Hawks. Barry, Hawks have made huge changes. Obviously, got rid of their franchise player Trae Young,
Mhm.
and for a while it looked like, okay, hey, we're doing good, but they have since went to a tailspin. They have lost 4 straight since then, and they look actually now in some cases worse than before. What it's funny. I don't know what I don't not quite sure what's going on with this Hawks team, man. I mean, it just seems that they can never seem to get traction. They'll do well. They'll get off a nice win streak, and you're thinking, okay, they're finally going to move to the next level. Remember, hard to believe that at one point, man, the Hawks were 13-8, and they were just a game and a half out of the 4th slot. Now they've tumbled back all the way down to number 9. I mean, you watch them from time to time. What do you think wrong with these Hawks team?
Well, again, like we talked about last week, I am happy that Trae has moved on and the Hawks have moved on from him. I think that's a positive. Now the Hawks have to truly identify who their number one is, and that person has to play like a number one. Then the team has to play like they want to be contenders. One thing I've noticed about NBA basketball, it's a lot of guys out there that seem like they're coasting. And and so if you're out there coasting, then that means that you're not putting forth 100% effort. And that's an absolute no-no. These guys are getting paid a lot of money to go out there and perform at a high level. And all of them have talent. There's absolutely no way you can get to the NBA if you don't have any talent. However, effort is at a premium. And so the guys I see putting forth maximum effort, I like to watch those guys. I like to see those guys roll. And Giannis is one of those kind of players, as you talked about. So the Hawks have an identity crisis right now. And now Trae is gone. So now who do you point the finger at? And the only person I can point the finger at this time would be the coach, Coach Snyder. So I haven't been impressed with anything he's done since he's been here so far. So let's see what he does the rest of the season and see if they can bring the team together and at least get one of those top 6 seeds so they do not have to play in the play-in games where they've been very unsuccessful in lately.
Now, you said you've not been impressed with anything, with nothing.
Not anything Coach Snyder has done. No, sir.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's interesting.
Have
I'm
you?
impressed with
Have
like
you
a,
been? Have you been?
well, not really. I
Have
mean,
you been
I'm
impressed
interested
by
in
him?
no, because I mean, here's the thing, and this is what I've said for the last couple of years, but especially more so now with this team. Um, the team, the way they're configured, is a team to me that should utilize what their strengths are. What are their strengths? You have guys at multiple positions that are very athletic for their position. You have a smallish,
Mhm.
athletic center, a guy that's 6'9". Again, he's got 6'11" wingspan, but in Okongwu, you have a guy that basically can play almost like a stretch four. You know, his 3-point shooting, I give him credit,
Mhm.
man. He's developed that, and he's really one of the better 3-point shooters for a big man in the league. The other thing is
Mhm.
you have a guy in Jalen Johnson that plays over the rim. I mean, the guy just can jump out of the building. Then you also have a defensive stalwart in your guard. Well, I'm gonna Dyson Daniels, another guy plays over the rim. And even if you look at Alexander Walker, a guy doesn't play over the rim, but he is a nifty penetrator of the basketball. So to me, I'm thinking, okay, well, why wouldn't you why wouldn't you do more of that? Moving the ball, like, because it's the thing. When the team moved the ball, when they move the ball around the perimeter, and when they kind of move the ball inside, don't be wrong, they've had some decent um, times when they shoot 3 pointers, but I just don't
Correct.
get, the situation with this team, why you wouldn't play an up tempo game all the time. And here's the
Right.
thing, if you know you have defensive weaknesses where these guys can't guard, especially down the paint, some of the bigger centers, why wouldn't you have a more pressing defense where utilizing the wingspan athleticism of your players and put them in the best position to play better defense? I
Yeah.
don't get it. Let me see if
Well,
I can
again,
go ahead.
no, no. I was gonna say
Hmm.
I agree with you 100%. That's why. That's why I said they have no identity at this moment because of what you eloquently describe what their issue is at this moment. And I watched that game the other night when they lost on MLK Day. Shout out to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you for all the great things, your sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, and the great things you did, not only for Black America, African Americans, but what you did for America. And that has to always be pointed out. So shout out to Dr. Martin Luther King and his family. Um, on MLK Day, the Hawks played the Milwaukee Bucks, and they came all the way back, and they had a chance to win that game. And then you saw them lose their identity. And then in crunch time, McCollum, and I like McCollum, he tried to go between his legs, fumbled the ball, and then shot a desperation three. And there were two men in the right hand corner that were wide open that he did not pass the ball to with 2 seconds left. And they would have easily got the shot off. But he took a desperation three falling to the ground instead of passing the ball to them. Now, I know in the heat of action, you may not see everybody because only special players can do that. So every player is not special like that. However, they put their team, the Hawks were in position to win the game. And so that's what I mean, where they're going to have to find their identity. You just brought McCollum in. Why is he taking the last shot? Why wasn't the ball, in somebody else's hand? So again, they got to find out, is Jalen Johnson number one? Is McCollum number one? Who's number one? And let's get them the ball in crunch time and let them make the play. But falling down to the ground, shooting a desperation three, and you don't make the right pass, I don't like that kind of basketball. Just to be honest with you, I don't like that kind of basketball
Yeah,
because it
man.
looks
At
like you
the end
don't
of
know what you're doing,
well,
and
see
that's all
again,
on the
this
coach.
right. See, the problem is that you got a situation where um yeah, I just don't get it, man. Because at the end of the day, you have a situation like you say again, you have a team that had come all the way back. I understand you have no timeouts, and the coach, and unfortunately, the particular browser I'm using right now is being a little snarky. It won't let me be able to, yeah, just the technology and me just don't get along too good. I don't know what it is, but it's just like good news. I'm not gonna let you do it.
Right.
But really, in the case of Coach Snyder, I just don't know, man. I'm like you. I just don't see um the consistency out of this man as far as being able to get what he should get out of his team. And
Correct.
it's very streaky. And the funny thing is when you look at their record, that is smacks of mediocrity. When you have a team that can't, that they'll win 5 or 6 straight and then they'll lose 5 or 6 straight, that's a team that just is a mediocre team because they're
Right.
constantly hovering around 500.
Correct. And that's what they were doing with Trey. So again, you're at 500 or below. You're anywhere from 5 to 7 games under 500 to 500. And so yeah,
Yep.
you just an average team at best. And again, hey, so on the moniker for Real Talk Sports, you have on there, should we trade for Giannis? I know, that time has passed. However, the next opportunity will be coming. And so, what will the Hawks do to make this team better? Be it another coach or be it some better players, one of the two. But the NBA is all about superstar power. And honestly, there's only so many superstars in the league. There's only so many. Well, actually, there's no player in the league right now,
Right.
other than, well, I'm gonna say one. There's one player in my belief that I believe can you put them on your team and you have a great chance to go all the way. There's only one, and that's SGA in OKC. There's
Guy's
nobody
the
else
MVP.
right now.
Guy's the MVP. That's why. I mean, he's the MVP. What are you
Yeah,
gonna do?
that's there's only one. It used to be two when LeBron was still LeBron, but LeBron ate. That's my man. You know what I'm saying? It used to be LeBron. You put LeBron on your team, you go into the finals, period. But
Right.
that's no more. So there's only one. So when all these people start talking about stats and hey man, stats don't matter. It's about, can you win games? Can you get your team to the Eastern Conference Finals? Can you get your team to the Western Conference Finals? Can you get your team to the finals? And there's only one dude in the NBA right now that I can believe that can do that. If you put him on your team, that team is about to go, and that's SGA. So the Hawks got to figure out something out. And I do believe if they get Giannis, I like that idea, Jonathan. If they
Yep.
trade for Giannis, now I think they got something serious. So I love that right there. So I love it.
Now here's the thing that's interesting. Fans are. I tell you, man, fans are fickle.
Mhm.
Already now, people are jumping off the Jalen Johnson bandwagon. People,
Man,
there
after
are,
2 or 3
listen, there are
games,
people on social media talking about. Let me read you some of these
yeah,
headlines from
read this
social
to me,
media, man.
man.
People are tripping, man. Let me read you some of these things here.
I
Okay,
can't
so
believe that. It's too
when I
early.
put in when I put in Jalen Johnson information, okay, this is what it says here. It
Mm-hmm.
says what people are saying. Did Jalen Johnson fool the Hawks into trading away to face their franchise for a month of insanity bait? This is on X. Okay, this hoops reference. This is what they're
Right.
saying. Now here's some of the comments. Okay, some of the people
Mm-hmm.
commenting here. It just, I mean, I mean, come on, man. I mean, why
Social
would you
media is
even
a
go
monster,
there?
Jonathan, as you
It is a
know.
dude. I mean,
It's
it's
a
no
monster, man. It's a
dude.
monster.
It's the gift that keeps on taking. I mean, it really is, bro. I mean, it's just, it is.
You
It
gotta
has
have
no
thick
fear.
skin, man. You
Right.
gotta
It just
you you gotta have thick
you have
skin, and I would challenge everybody, encourage everybody to have a spiritual foundation. Because if you sit there and watch social media all day and you look at how people are talking about you, if you're a public figure, hey man, it can be a rough day for you, man. So
that
my,
beat the
my
brakes
advice
off you,
to
bro.
you, yeah, my advice is you have a strong spiritual foundation and you rely on that and stay off the social media handles and let the people talk and do their thing, but don't read that stuff and internalize that stuff because you'll go crazy, man. And that's real because we have young people in school and adults alike that they live and die on social media, man. And you can't have your emotions and your spiritual balance be all off because you're looking at what people are saying about you. It's insane, man. It's insane.
That this is what some of the guys are saying. One guy says, "Insanity ball, y'all been spewing beep beep about Hawks players ever since Trey was here." Let's look at some of these other comments, man. But I can't believe the guy said this. He's talking about, I mean, insanity. All right, let me take a look at this. Let's take a look at these
Yes,
numbers. I'm
sir.
gonna go here and look at Jalen Johnson's numbers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In the last 5 games, he has looked a little slim shady. I will admit it. He's looked. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. The game against Boston, I was like, I didn't recognize the guy. I said, "Dude, did you like?" forget how to play because he went ghost. When I'm saying he went ghost, he was like the moment was way too big. He got to dodge. I was like, hey man, what y'all doing? I mean, it
Right.
was just but the realities are this. Let me pull it up. Okay, so his
Mm-hmm.
last 5 games, I'll pull these stats up here. Last 5 games for Jalen Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, against Boston, I don't know what happened, but here it was. Okay, let's start him off here. On
Mm-hmm.
January 11th, on a huge road win at Golden State, Steph was playing. Final score, Hawks were actually up at that game, I think, by 24 points at one point, 124 to 111. Jalen Johnson's stats, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 6 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Unfortunately, against the Lakers, when they get blown out, Jalen Johnson, I don't know, again, same thing, disappeared. 13 points. He had 6 assists, no blocks, and only had 3 rebounds. Against
Mm-hmm.
Portland, another loss. Once again, offensively disappeared. Only 12 points, but he did have 11 rebounds, 6 assists. The blowout against Boston, that's the game where I was like, hey, man, you all right? He shot 50%. No, seriously. The guy looked like he was frustrated the whole game, man. He shot only 50% from the foul line.
Yeah.
12 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. It was a non-factor. Against Milwaukee, second half, you can't say anything about the guy. He hit 50% of his three-pointers. He had 16 rebounds and 28 points and 6 assists. So this idea about Linsanity, I don't get it. The guy's been balling out. And if you go back even further to all those games before when Trey wasn't playing, the guy put up huge numbers, man. The guy, look, here's his numbers. Right now for the season, he's averaging close to a triple-double. 23
Yeah.
points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, and oh, by the way, shooting 51% from the floor. Here's how these stats rank. His scoring average, he's 22nd in the league overall. All players. Rebounds, 7th. That means he's in the top 10 in rebounds. Assists, he's 6th. So he's in the top 10 in rebounds, top 10 in assists, top 25 in scoring. Linsanity, what you talking about?
Yeah. Is he now? Let me ask you this, Jonathan. Is you think they're going to bring him into All-Star as a reserve? Have they named the reserves yet?
I haven't seen that yet. You would think if he's not an all-star, it's just a scam.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
guy has got to be an all-star, man. There's no way you can say, okay, we're not going to put a guy who's almost averaging a triple-double and not be an all-star and having his
Right.
best year of the season. Oh, no, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
came after last year, even though he was battling injuries. Last year, he averaged almost 19 points a game, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. So this guy's been a 2010 guy basically over his last 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Since
so
Atlanta
I
has shifted him into being more of a key role player. I don't get it.
right. So last year he was definitely on his way to being an all-star. I heard all the chatter about it. They
Right.
said, hey,
He got
this
injured.
guy's
Yep.
rising. Then he started this season off playing like an all-star.
Yes, sir.
And like I say, he's still very young. So he had some off games here, as you just showed the stats on it. And then he picked it up second half against Milwaukee here on Monday. So let's see what he does these next few games. Definitely too early to write it off. He's definitely a kid that has grown from getting drafted, going back and forth to the G League, and now he's established himself as a true NBA player. So yeah. So now, and this is what I was alluding to earlier, and now I'm going to say it. A mental game. Now Jalen has to develop the mental part of the game that allows him to be this perennial all-star where he develops and says, hey, I am the man, and I'm going to take y'all to the house every single night. If he can get that mental attitude in his head, then now the sky's the limit for him and the team. So that's what Snyder and the staff has to do. They're going to have help him mentally prepare for each game and understand this is his team now, and he's going to have to go out there and lead the team a certain kind of way if they want to be successful.
Especially in the clutch.
That's it.
That was the other thing in that Milwaukee game. The Hawks had come all the way and had gotten a 1-point lead.
Mm-hmm.
Then the game was tied, and a foul on Jalen Johnson. He proceeded to miss both free throws.
Correct. There you go.
And
That's mental. All that's mental.
right. And unfortunately, that was winning margin, was 2 points. The
Mm-hmm.
crazy play at the end notwithstanding. So that's what he's gonna. In order to be that guy, you have to be clutch. And I know you're not clutch all the time, but free throws you can't miss. You
Right.
just can't
Right.
miss those down the stretch. You can't do it. So that's something he's
Yeah.
gonna grow into. But I mean, the idea that this guy is somehow a fluke, nah, man,
Oh no, 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 no,
no,
no.
because
He's
like I say,
shown it.
he's improved. Right, his last 3 seasons, 23, 24, we saw the flashes.
Mm-hmm.
15 points, almost 9 rebounds, almost 4 assists a game. So we say, oh, wait a minute. Next year, again, before the injuries, he's on an all-star pace. He's averaging almost 19 points a game, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. This year, most of it without Trey,
Mm-hmm.
23 points, 10.2 rebounds, and 8 assists. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know where you go. And
Yeah.
and the guy is, as much as sometimes he can be a little matador on his defense, he's still averaging almost an assist and a steal and a half a game. I mean,
So,
so the guy
hey,
is, I mean,
he's
the guy
playing. He's playing
snaps,
some
bro.
good
Right,
basketball. Yeah.
right.
So we get his
He's at
mental
all-star
together.
level.
Yeah. Yes. If Snyder and that staff can get his mental together, then hey, he's going to develop into a star. And he's right there on the verge of it. So hopefully he's named an all-star this year to officially announce his arrival. And now we can move on to the second half of the season and see if the Hawks can make a push for a top six seed. And then if not, hey, they're gonna have to battle their way in a actual play-in game, which I do not like. But hey, they're gonna have to do what they have to do. So, hey, Coach Snyder, it's on you, baby. It's on you. The talent is there. I think we got a squad, but hey, you got to put the squad together. And so I believe in this thing called sports psychology. And I don't know who's on board with the Hawks to handle that part of the game, but these players need to go see a sports psychologist and get their minds and their spirits right so they can play ball. So, hey, so get with your pastor at your church, players, and get with your sports psychologist, hey man, and go out there and make something happen.
And
That's gonna be my recipe right there for success.
the other thing they need is a strength coach. I mean, because the team, I mean, they need a little bit
what
more
you
of this.
saying? They need.
I mean, they look. I mean, they got muscle. They look lean, but I need a little bit more girth, man. I need to be like,
Man, they
yeah. I mean,
basketball players, man. They everybody not gonna be Karl Malone now or Shaq. Hey, these guys some skinny dudes. Hey,
right. I don't need
so
everybody, but but when we start saying, man, they that guy needs. I mean, they bring in a Piccadilly or something, bro. Cause that guy look like or get him to the French restaurant, cause it seems like he's not growing at all, bro. I mean, and he
what is
constantly
the
hurt.
second? What is the second year? What is the
Second year
second
hurt
year?
again. Yeah, he hurt
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Well, you saw again. You have to look at the winning organizations.
Right.
You saw what OKC did with Big Chet. I mean, he
Yeah.
set out a whole season and just worked on strength and conditioning and everything with his. So there's nothing wrong. I just don't understand this. Everybody rushing. What are you rushing for? If the guy's not ready, they're not going to help you anyway. So get them in the gym, get them
Right.
to a eating table, a
Right. Get
training
him a steak.
table.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And get these
Right.
guys. You drafting these guys at 18, 19 years old. They not mentally, spiritually, or physically ready in most cases. So get these guys the help they need. A trainer, a pastor, and a sports psychologist, and get these boys right, man. So they can go out
They had
here
to
and
do
play
something
some
about
ball
that.
at a high level.
This ridiculous. All right. Well, speaking of playing at a high level and guys that apparently
Yes,
from
sir.
everything that we've seen had all together. They had the psychology, they had the mental toughness, and they had the outstanding coaching. The
Oh,
run out of a movie. The Indiana Hoosiers capped off a spectacular season. First team, I should say second team to go 15-0 in the BCS slash playoff era. Capped it off with a exciting win, 27-21 over the Miami Hurricane, and stopping the Hurricanes inside the 20 with an opportunity to win that ball game. Um, what more can you say? I mean, they're the example of everything you just talked about. The coaching was there. The spiritual aspect was there. These guys, I think, 2/3 of their team were believers. Holly Rowe from ESPN, I saw her on social media post. She was almost in tears after their final practice, just watching these guys stop the practice at the end, and everybody just hugging, saying, "I love you, man. You know, let's win it for the team." And they had a season for the ages.
Jonathan, let me tell you something, man. My oldest daughter's a graduate of the University of Miami, and I had on my Miami shirt last night, cheering for the team, and I knew it was going to be a tough game. I mean, it's hard to go against Indiana, man, with what they built up there in the short 2 years. However, you would think Miami would have had a chance to really, really take that game from them. But because of what you just talked about, all the pieces were in place. You have veteran players. So now the average age of those guys at Indiana, like 23, 24 years old. So you're really talking about graduate transfers in that program up there. Then you're talking about guys he brought from James Madison with him. Then you're talking about zero. I'm talking about there's 0 5-stars on that team. They got a couple of 4-stars, and they have like 68 3-stars or below on that team. That's totally impressive to run through the season and go 16-0 with no 5-stars, only a few 4-stars, and you playing basically with 3 stars or below. Hey, that right there shows you what we were talking about earlier. Coaching matters. And one of the biggest things I saw in a story in one of the games leading up to the final championship game, they talked about those coordinators with him, Jonathan. And this is for anybody that's out there that wants to be a coach at a high level. Here's the word of the day: sacrifice. These guys, at one point in time, not too long ago, were making $6,000 a season, Jonathan. $6,000 as coaches. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to sacrifice and learn the game and coach the game while you're making no money? Are you willing to move from program to program with a man that all he can do is promise you an opportunity? Not no money. He can't promise you no money, but he can promise you an opportunity.
Right.
And then now, several years later, you making big money.
Right.
And now you've taken a program that's one of the losingest programs, if not I think it's the most losingest major Division I school. They've lost the most games as a major college in football history. And in 2 seasons under Signetti, they've won the national championship. Hey, that's called sacrifice. That's called determination. And that's called mastering your craft. So shout out to John Mellencamp, who's been an Indiana Hoosier supporter for all these years. Shout out to Mark Cuban, who puts the money up for them to go get these players. And shout out to the whole Indiana football program and football nation for supporting this team through a tremendous run, a historic run in college football history. And then to sum it all up, that young man Mendoza, profoundly professing God in his interviews after these games and in interviews overall. Shout out to them, man. And all the young men that were praying on the field after these games, man. I'm talking about all the teams I saw across the college football landscape this season. It was a beautiful thing seeing them give glory to God in front of the world.
No.
And that's what we need right now. So that's what we need right now, Jonathan. So special moments, man, special young men and women in that program up there, because there's a lot of ladies in the administration and on the scene up there in Indiana that are making this happen. And I believe their president, if their president is a lady, right? I think the president of the university is a lady.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, check. So shout out to the president of the University of Indiana of choosing Signetti and taking a chance on a gentleman from James Madison University to come up there and change the culture and change the direction of Indiana football, man. for years to come. So
No
all
doubt.
I can do is clap, and shout out to those young men and ladies up there making it happen, man.
They have
Big time
no doubt
program.
changed the college football landscape. All right, everybody, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk about another team that's trying to change the landscape. The Atlanta Falcons down here making big moves and coaching decisions. We'll be back with the expert from the Atlanta Falcons, D. Orlando Ledbetter, will be joining us very shortly. But you got to keep it locked right here if you want to see him.
Looking for a vehicle? Come to Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We're a family-owned dealership that's been serving the Atlanta area for over 40 years, offering an unbeatable selection of new Fords, Lincolns, and pre-owned vehicles. Enjoy our exceptional customer service and great financing options tailored just for you. Visit us at 6790 Mount Zion Boulevard in Morrow, Georgia, located just 20 minutes from downtown Atlanta. Call us at 678-364-3979 or visit online at allenvigilford.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
And that's our question, guys, for our second half of our broadcast. The Falcons coaching hires, do you like them so far? And we are on standby waiting for our special guest, D. Orlando Ledbetter, to talk to us more about that. Barry, it's done now. Falcons have their new head coach. They also have a new offensive line coach. But there is still yet other guys to be. Oh, excuse me. They also have their defensive coordinator. So right now we are on standby waiting for a special teams coach and an offensive coordinator if Stefanski decides that he's not going to call the plays. What do you think about the hire?
I'm, Jonathan, you look at one of the biggest stories of the season, this past NFL, well, this, current NFL season, and the Cleveland Browns were all in it. And so this gentleman that the Falcons have just hired, yeah, I know he's won Coach of the Year twice. I mean, what does that mean? I don't know. But if you look at his record, his win-loss record, he's well under 500. Other than him winning Coach of the Year, what has he done? Everybody's running around, the people that support this pick are running around saying, hey, he's a great coach. He's a great offensive mind. He is? Where? What's the evidence of that in wins and losses? So again, we got a guy that was in the middle of one of the most high-profile snubbings of all time in draft history. Quarterback conundrum. And then we decide to bring him here where we have a quarterback conundrum ourselves, and we think that's the guy who clearly lost the locker room in Cleveland. We think that guy is going to come to Atlanta, and you think our guys are supposed to respect that? Hey, man, I'm praying that Matt Ryan, who I'm a huge fan of, knows something that we don't know. That's all I can go with. And I pray that this pick works out. I don't know. But I'm not excited about this pick at all. So to answer your question just flat out, I don't know I don't know if this is the best pick we could have made. That's my answer.
Well, we're gonna get the inside scoop. This man is the embedded beat writer for the Falcons for AJC. He is a legendary and highly respected sports writer. Matter of fact, he is a award-winning sports writer, and he's Esquire par excellence. You know who he is? I'm talking about the one and only D-Led is back in the building. D-Led, welcome back, sir.
Hey, Reverend, thanks for having me. Coach Barry, glad to see you all this evening.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
let's get right to it. Falcons decided they wanted to clean house. They got rid of everybody for the most part, and they now have a brand new regime and a coach that is experienced, but brings a little bit of controversy because of his last year with Cleveland. What do you think about this pick, D-Led? How do you think they came up with Kevin Stefanski as a pick under the new Matt Ryan-led regime, I should say?
Yeah, Coach Kevin, 45 and 56, 8 and 26 the last 2 years. Had a really bumpy ride there with the quarterbacks, and starting with Baker Mayfield, who's out there tweeting tonight at my story. He didn't like our story going over the 13 quarterbacks that Stefanski had there, with him being the first. He took them to the playoffs, but they didn't want to re-sign him, and he asked for a trade, so they traded him. They got Deshaun Watson and traded him, but that didn't work out. That was a failed move, and then Deshaun didn't work out. That's a failed move, and it ended up with them playing so many quarterbacks up there. So he did have 2 good years, went to the playoffs in 20 and 23. So, I was taking over a Cleveland team that hadn't been to playoffs in 12 years, or no, hadn't had a winning season in 12 years, going back to 07, and he took them right away to the playoffs. So, some good stuff there and some trash stuff there from Coach Kevin Stefanski. But I think he jumped to the leader of the pack because of a connection to Ryan and his coaching tree. Matt Ryan was brought into the league by Bill Musgrave. Bill Musgrave would later go to Minnesota and tutor and mentor a one Kevin Stefanski. So Matt Ryan's in the job. He's interviewing 9 people. And, if Bill Musgrave is recommending somebody, he's going to be a person that Ryan trusts from his rookie season when Bill Musgrave was his offensive coordinator and helped to take the Falcons to the playoffs as a rookie. So that's the connection that everybody keeps ending back up with, while pointing out, you got to be fair to Coach Kevin. It's a lot of stuff out on the internet, but, you got to look at the whole 6 years and what happened in Cleveland under his administration.
All right. How speaking of connections, should we take anything into the fact that quarterback who's on our roster also played under Stefanski when he was in Minnesota? Any shot that Kirk kind of backs up and says, "Hey, you got a guy I've worked with. Falcons are in trouble, because we don't know when Peck's going to come back." Any shot that Kirk comes back, and maybe that also is a reason why potentially that Stefanski also is a guy that might be a good fit for the Falcons.
Yeah, no question about it. They did redo his contract. I don't know if there's more work you can do there, but Kurt was pretty intent on getting up out of here under the former regime. Now he can consider maybe coming back. He didn't like how they did him, when he got pulled out of the lineup. We should have been playing hurt. I don't even know why he mad at them for letting him play hurt and throw out him interceptions. But he didn't like that they gave the job away to the rookie without a competition, which didn't make sense to me. And you didn't even let him play in the games to compete. So he was done with them people. But now, because of Stefanski's here, he had his highest rated year passing, 127.4 in 19 under Stefanski. Maybe, he goes out and sees if somebody's like, "Hey, Kurt, you could be our starter at 38. Lead us to the promised land." And if that happens, he's gone. If that doesn't happen, then he can come back here. Kevin can say, "Hey, you got the keys until Mike's healthy, all the way healthy. We don't have to rush him back. And when he's ready to go, y'all can compete for the job." And Kurt's going to be like, "That's all I'm asking for." And so, then Michael's got to come and beat him and take the job, and then you move forward. So the fact that Kevin Stefanski is here, that improves your potential quarterback situation, which was looking pretty murky.
Surely right. Barry Bound, comments or questions for D-Led?
I think what he just said was, man, D, I think what you just said is critical to us understanding what's going on. So now Kirk Cousins has a chance to stay and be our quarterback. He helped win these last 4 games of the season. So now going into 2026 season, when would that decision be made? Do you know? Or how are those decisions made if Kirk Cousins stays or has to leave? How does that work?
Well, your dates are March the 13th, and then August is your backup date. Early August, right before training camp. Around March 13th, they're gonna cut him. Okay. And that's gonna trigger his dead money being spread over 2 years. It's gonna be a June 1 designation cut. All right, now Kirk's free. He goes around and it's free agency in March, right after the combine, and he'll see what offers are out there. And he's got the best agent in the game, Mike McCartney. So if there's a super duper deal out there for Kurt, another one, he takes it. If there's not a super duper deal for a 38-year-old guy, and the best thing out there is to be in the backup in Atlanta, then he could, take the summer off so he doesn't have to go to O2As and stuff. Or, if he's serious, he comes on in and gets it done with the Falcons and gets it done quick, or just comes to training camp in August. So that's the scenario for Kurt. But you look around, you saw the coach bring in a 44-year-old guy last year. So there might be a market for Kurt at 38, given the Raiders situation,
right.
But see, he's setting himself up again. They're gonna be like, come on and play for us. We're the Cardinals, the mighty, mighty Cardinals. And then they draft somebody, which was the same situation here. So he's gotta say, hey, I'm coming. Y'all gotta tell me y'all not drafting nobody. And it's my job, at 38, you don't get to dictate all that. So, but if he does, then he's going. And it might be somebody stupid enough to do it. Maybe Buffalo takes him to show Josh how to hold on to the ball.
Right. That part. Yeah. That's gonna be interesting to see how many teams may be interested in him as he finished up the season strong for the Falcons. And so I'm interested to see how that plays out. Yeah, I would love to have him under the circumstances that you just described. I would love to have him back in Atlanta as either the starter or the backup to start the season, since he's already here. And we don't have to start with a rookie or somebody like that. Do you know if they're looking at any other free agent quarterbacks already?
Well, we got to get the GM in here first.
Okay.
And Raheem, Raheem said, hey, we're automatically in the quarterback market. So when the new GM gets in here, he can either try to maybe Kurt's like, hey, I like y'all. Let's redo this deal and, get it under the cap. He already made $100 million and some change off of what, 2 years of work. So they could probably, maybe because you got Stefanski here, he's in a position to deal.
Gotcha.
And you can get that done, right away. Like, hey, you're the quarterback till Michael's healthy. Then Michael's got to come back and show us he could run Stefanski's offense and, fulfill his, promise as the number 8 overall pick. And
I like that.
Yeah.
I like D. Make that happen, D.
Scenario.
Yeah, make that happen, D. If you can make that happen, I feel more comfortable with that scenario than trying to bring in somebody else, me personally. But let me ask you this, D. What other spots are high priorities for the Falcons? We know the quarterback situation is a hot one. What's the other hot position that needs to be filled immediately or as soon as possible?
Yeah, I'm going down to the Senior Bowl, and I got my list for that. We did the work on that already. You got to get a running back, tight end, and the cornerback groups are the 3 top priorities for the Falcons. Probably not in that order. Probably cornerbacks number 1. You got to do tight end, pass catching, young pass catching tight end, because maybe you franchise Kyle Pitts and bring him back and let him go later, or you got somebody to help. And then running back, you need somebody to help Bijan because Tyler Algier is going to be a free agent. So those are the obvious ones. And the line position is going to be interesting to watch because they signed Bill Callahan, the former I noticed him back in the day at Wisconsin when he was getting up with all.
We lost D-Led there for a second. I'm sure he'll reboot with us in just a moment. Yeah, and that was the question I was going to ask him. The idea about Bill Callahan, because Callahan, he's more of he runs more of a thumper, because that guy, he's he kind of that mall ball. Yeah, and right, and so the
Right.
Falcons traditionally, at least over the last several years, they've run a lot of that zone running attack, things like that. So that is the question. I'm trying to see if I maybe get D-Led out of the studio for a second, maybe bring him back in here.
Okay.
Yep, we'll get him out for a second. I'm sure he'll come back in. Yeah, man. So that's my question. Going to be a question for him. Bill Callahan, a guy like you said again. He is. I will say this: the guy is a legendary line coach. This guy has a whole rostrum, a list of players that he's coached to the Pro Bowl. But
Yeah.
again, the guys that he normally looks for are bigger guys, 300-pounders, guys that are going to really maul you on the inside. And this is really not what the Falcons have, even with their best offensive lineman. He's not. Your best offensive lineman, but a Pro Bowler in Chris
Lindstrom.
Lindstrom. Lindstrom, I think, comes in about 295. I don't
Oh,
think he's
wow.
300. Yeah, I mean,
I
I'll look
got
it
you.
up. I don't think Lindstrom's a 300-pounder. So now I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, what are you gonna do with that?
Right. Well,
A guy. Go ahead.
no, I was going to ask you this then, Jonathan. So, over the years, like I heard, I think that's where D. Orlando Ledbetter was going with the Wisconsin lineman. Hey, I take any lineman from Wisconsin. If you were starting at Wisconsin, you a player, and they produced over the decades at Wisconsin as far as producing linemen for the NFL. So, if that's the game plan of us going out and drafting and trading for Wisconsin linemen, I'm with it. I'm with that, Jonathan. Straight up.
And oh, by the way, I was wrong. Lindstrom is just a tad over 300 pounds, 6'4", 310. So
Oh,
he's got
wow.
some. He's
Gotcha.
got some size, and he
Mm-hmm.
has now played in his fourth. He will be playing his fourth consecutive Pro Bowl. So no doubt, this guy is a stud for us. I think we got D-Led back in the building here. Let's get him back in here. There he is. Okay, perfecto. So D-Led, we were asking the question about what the Falcons offensive line is going to look like now. They do a lot of that kind of zone blocking. They have guys that are, I mean, they're not light, but I mean, Callahan, man, he normally puts them maulers up there. So is he going to look for a different type of lineman now that he's coming into the fold?
Yeah, I think so. That's why I was wrapping up that draft part of it. But I think some of the alignment are okay. That would be Caleb McGarry if he comes back, and Chris Lindstrom, so you could run on that side. And Jake Matthews, he played last year with that. He was hurt. He was out there on one leg last year, so he'll be back. He could be fine in the Mauler deal. The problem's the center and the left guard, Bergeron. So Bergeron and Newsel. So and you can find guards on the cheap on the low, but not so much center. So Kyle Shanahan found that out here the first year. They had that one guy skipping the ball back on the shotgun snaps like he was on Bowling for Dollars. And then they went out and got Alex Mack the next year. He followed Shanahan from Cleveland to here. So I don't know what the money's not that good, so you can't really go get that center this year. But you got to try to find somebody, that's an upgrade on that interior of the line.
Now you talked about McGarry and the other lineman. I just drew a blank.
Chris Lindstrom.
Bergeron. Now Bergeron, the thing I like about him, he kind of fits alignment. He kind of takes me back to some of the Falcon linemen back like in the mid-teens. He got a bad attitude, bro. He just seems like he's a snarky guy and a guy I think would fit in a system where you're mauling and brawling. What do you think about him when he's healthy?
Yeah, if he's a little bit bigger, they might have him put on some weight. He was a left tackle in college, so he might be a candidate to move outside. I think he fits too. The center's the only obvious upgrade, one that's a little smaller.
Your center, right? Yep.
Newsel, the undrafted kid from App State, but Bergeron, I think it's gonna be, you kind of, you could be fine there for a year or two, no doubt.
Yeah, put some meat on him, man. Like I said, he got the attitude. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he got that. He's got that. What you want, like, hey, you come in here, you're gonna get bit by the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like his flow. Now let's shift to defense for a second. Everybody raved about the fact that the Falcons set a record, but what I told people was when I watched them, uh, to me, a lot of the sacks were not money sacks. What I mean by that is they had a problem with third down conversions. I didn't see a lot of those sacks to say, okay, now we're going to get them off the field. A lot of the sacks, first, second down. Like you said, you had games where they had 4 or 5 sacks. And I grant you, the offense sometimes screwed it up, but there were times where the other team had that ball last, and the Falcons defense couldn't seem to make that play that they needed,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of take the game. So what we're bringing Albert back. What kind of changes do you think we're going to see with this Falcons team? Or what would you like to see on the defense to kind of short it up? Because like I said, to me, the third down conversions were kind of a problem, and actually give a lot of yards on the ground as well.
Yeah, it's a smallish defense. They got mauled there at times. Jonathan Taylor, they didn't protect the leads late. When you needed a third down sack, that didn't happen in 3 games. One of them the Jets game. Let Daniel Jones out on a 3rd and 19, I think it was, in Berlin for
That was
17.
a
So
killer.
you need a faster linebacker in there to spy and cover his guy and then spy and get to the rally to the quarterback and cut that down. Now, the smallish attacking defense was built that way because they felt they were going to be scoring a lot of points on offense. And that way they can attack people and just pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. That didn't happen. That isn't how they played. Now it's going to turn into more of a power slugfest offense. And you do have Bijan to throw the play action off of that to Drake London. And so that could happen. You're gonna have to get bigger up in inside because those guys, that's where the running was going. People went straight up the middle. I'm just remembering the Carolina game and remembering the San Francisco game, and then outside the corners had to be a big part of the tackling. And AJ was coming up, and he already has concussion problems. And you got to get another corner on the other side. Mike Hughes got hurt, and Billy Bauman will take the nickel, and then CJ. You ended up the season with CJ Henderson as your starting cornerback. So you got to shore that up. Get some linebackers for the run game, and take away what people did to you this year, because that's what they're going to look at and say, hey, we can get them here, and you got to fix that over the offseason.
They mentioned Billy Bowman. There's a guy I like him a lot, and he was great running those kind of staggered blitzes. But dang, he's awful small, bro. And I just think that he can't. I'm just concerned whether he can take the kind of pounding that you want in that kind of slot / nickel cornerback. A lot of times, like I said, again, they were blitzing them. They're doing some from time to time some run stuff. Do you think that he can hold up under the construct of the Falcons defense the way they had set up last year?
Yeah, that's always the concern with rookies is how much the physicality can they take. I think he's got the mental fortitude to take it. He was a tough player in there. He did a great job in coverage. But yeah, I want my front four to get there, so I'm not sitting my 5'8" nickelback all the time. But occasionally it's okay. But they had to send him too much last year. So, they got the 57 sacks, but yeah, what cost? Because then he gets hurt.
Yeah, like I said, I loved his energy, but I just said to myself, I said, hey man, you run this guy into the wolf pack here. Eventually, which he did, he get injured, man. Because like you said, the guy's only 5'8", barely 200 pounds. We know that the pass regime is gone. Do you think that to some degree we undersold what Terry Fontenot did, especially if you consider that last draft where he basically really overhauled the defense strictly out of the draft?
Yeah, no doubt. But you can't forget about Jalen Mayfield and Richie Grant and Kyle Pitts over Micah Parsons. That happened. You're gonna what I learned from Ryan Wolf is you're only going to hit on 30% of your draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
So and the other rule is look at the top 100. You got to hit in the top 100. You got to have players like Arnold Abicati. Okay, you drafted him in the 3rd round. He's not that great, but he can go play for you. So you at least got a player there. So, guys like that play 10 years in the league because everybody needs a little mid level contract guy. So at least don't miss, don't whiff. I mean, you whiffed on a 3rd round pick from Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan, who he looked big and everything, but he he didn't work out. So
He couldn't block anybody.
yeah, he was running down the field looking like it was bad. But yeah, so Terry got better, and then you don't know who's responsible for the Kyle Pitts pick. You don't know who's responsible for the Deshaun Watson thing. I'm gonna put it on the owner because he's taking too much charge of stuff now. You can see that the people in those positions don't really have the freedom to do football things sometimes. So blame the whole messed up. I report to this person reports to that person, this person, all that nonsense on the owner since he's the only one still here.
I no doubt, man.
Right.
I had asked the question. I think it was last year before last. Is Arthur Blank starting to turn to Jerry Jones? Because his fingerprints. If you really think this is what I said to myself. If you really think that any GM was chased after Deshaun Watson to that degree, had all over the press, the Falcons want Watson, which basically left you no negotiation, and then you were in the hunt for possibly giving a guy a $2 or $250 million guaranteed contract, which Cleveland stupidly did, and then you poke in the eye the guy who's been probably one of the greatest players in your franchise history. Just the whole thing was just. I don't believe any GM did that. I believe that was Arthur Blank saying, "Go get that guy." That's
Yeah,
what it felt like to me.
yeah, we had heard 2 years earlier that Deshaun was going to replace Matt Ryan, so don't know, couldn't report it, but then Deshaun doesn't just comes out of nowhere and it's like, hey, I want out of my contract. What'd you do that for? And
Right.
then all of a sudden, Houston's like, hey, wait a minute, we got this file here with all this stuff you've been doing.
We're about to get you.
Yeah, so it got messy down there. And but smart for them, they didn't mess that contract.
Oof,
He's
thank
supposed to be
goodness.
coming to Atlanta. Then Cleveland's like, hold up, wait a minute. We got the deal of your life for you here. And they agreed to the 3 first rounds and the 230 million guaranteed. So Arthur Blank knew not to do that. So
Yes, sir.
and it was down to Cleveland. It was down to Atlanta and Carolina. Cleveland was out. And, they were
That's right.
getting
They
ready
were
to
out. Yeah.
throw a riot up there on the streets. And they traded Baker had already asked for a trade. They didn't, Baker and Stefanski wasn't flowing. He played with a left shoulder thing. And that situation was just a mess. So they had to do something. They didn't have to do that. They could have,
Right.
but that's what they did. Got Deshaun Watson, who's facing cases. Then he gets suspended for 11 games, and it's just a mess up there. So yeah, there you go. That's how it went down in Cleveland.
Crazy. Now, speaking of that now, because he's went through multiple dramas, like stuff that really a normal coach really shouldn't have to go through. I mean, where your owner's doing crazy stuff, your quarterback's telling you you're a bum. I mean, do you think that might help him kind of get through here being in Atlanta? I mean, because really, at the end of the day, as much as people from time to time will tease you about being hard, you really, here in Atlanta, we're really not hard on guys. I'm originally from the New York area. I mean, these guys couldn't last a week. They just would get scorched up. But do you think that will help him, the fact he's had to navigate bizarre requests by owners, um, having people hit him with 18 different types of slander, not slander, people basically call him out for something he maybe not have control over? Do you think that might help him kind of navigate the waters here in a kind of a murky situation here in Atlanta?
Yeah, he can concentrate on football, and they're gonna try to do everything they can to keep it on football, and the injuries, and Atlanta doesn't really have that. The whole Cleveland's got a pretty big press corps too, and the folks are crazy about the Browns up there. So it'll be a little bit more relaxed in that regard. But I think having been through it, he comes in and he knows that, hey, I need it to be this way. He's not guessing on what he wants to do, what he wants to run, who he's bringing in his coaches. What I don't like is you got another forced marriage. And Reverend, I gotta go because the editor's calling on this Baker Mayfield stuff that's blowing up everywhere. But
All right.
but the I don't like the forced marriage where they're like, hey, yeah, it's your job, but hey, you got to take Jeff Ulbrich. Okay, y'all get along. Okay, I don't know if he's gonna have a say on the GM, but they might just say, hey, here's Reverend Sims, he's your GM. Tell him what you want in the draft, and you can get your running quarterback. But but yeah, I don't like bringing in all these people from different places because they're not gonna work well together at first.
You already
It's
know.
gonna be a transition period. So then that's why I said early on, I was like, hey, we're probably up for more losing because I knew it wasn't no great coaches out there. Even though Harbaugh and McDermott popped on the scene, and they're gonna come in trying to do new stuff that's gonna change the roster. And now you on that merry-go-round that Cleveland and the Bengals are on. So trying to put a team together with a new coach and new administration, that's guaranteed more losing. When Raheem had made some progress, where Shanahan and Dan Campbell got their third years, he didn't get his third year. So, it's just some hope that he can get it. It's smoother here. He's got decent players. He needs some more, and he needs them to stay healthy and get a good special teams coordinator here and cover some kickoffs, make some field goals, and maybe you can overtake the Panthers in the NFC South.
There you go. All right, D-Led, we got to go. Tell people how they can find out more about you and all of the stuff that you're writing about the Falcons.
Yeah, you can find me on ajc.com. That's our new site where all our stuff is. You can go on my Twitter at DOrlandoAJC and hit that link at the top of the page to sign up for our newsletter, the Dirty Birds Dispatch, which comes out every Thursday at 10 a.m.
There you go. D. Orlando Ledbetter in the building. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
God bless. That was D-Led. Let me get the screen situated here. Well, Barry, it's about that time for us to get up on out of here, man. Listen, I appreciate you. Why don't you tell people how they can find out more about you as well?
Definitely. Well, thank you, Jonathan, always for having me on. I always enjoy this time together. So I am Barry Brown, author of the #1 book for youth student athletes around the world, the Student Athlete Playbook, Success in the Classroom, Sports, and Life. You can visit us at youtheducationandsports.org. You can also find us on Facebook, scrolling at the bottom here, facebook.com/Student Athlete Playbook. And we invite everybody to go to our YouTube page and check out our videos, youtube.com/@Student Athlete Playbook.
There you go. Mr. Barry Brown in the building. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, guys.
Yes, sir.
Before we get out of here, preacher got to tell you, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, please, man, please, sir, get to know him today. You can see that even young people know that they need Christ in their life. And why do they need that? Because number one, you want to have a life well lived here upon the earth, and you want to avoid that nasty place called hell and up in that spectacular, lovely place called heaven. Right? I like number 2 option instead of number 1. All right, guys, until next time we get back together again, we say as we do each week, God bless you and have a wonderful rest of the day or evening, whichever may apply. So long and take care.